So we can call this meeting to order, and we do have a roll call, we do have a quorum, Kate, right?
We do have a quorum.
All right, and as everybody got a chance to read the minutes? Are there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none. Anybody, Sandy's making a motion
I would like to make a motion to approve.
to approve the minutes? Seconded by Mayor Pat Mahoney, Commissioner. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. And away we go, and Annie's up, ready to go. We got a couple commissioners that are dying to get out of here, so we gotta move along. Hey, it can't be worse than what I went through yesterday coming home from Ocean City. On a Monday, yesterday was Tuesday. Figured it'd be a breeze coming home from Ocean City. It only took me 7.5 hours. And it was all because of Anne Arundel County.
Uh-oh.
They let a
It's
tractor
too early for that.
Tractor
She's-
trailer
it's day one.
tractor trailer turned over at Cape St. Squire.
Wow.
Was it, Gail, was it clear this morning when you came?
No, for some reason they closed a lane down for no reason, and what were they standing there just looking at each other?
That's because there was a truck in the gully.
Was there?
Yeah,
No, I didn't see the
18
truck
wheel,
in the gully.
yeah. I was there when I went by last night.
Okay, well, it was still truck, it was right there before 4?
No, this was after you crossed the bridge.
Okay, no, this is before between 4 and 4 in the college and the.
No.
Makes you mad.
Okay, Annie,
You ready for it?
we're ready.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Annie Sakarik, and I will be presenting the proposed water and sewer system rehabilitation project at Point Lookout State Park. Point Lookout is located on the southernmost tip of St. Mary's County. It's on a peninsula formed by the confluence of the Chesapeake Bay and the Potomac River. You can see on this park map the various existing camping loops and picnic areas found at the park. The park itself is 1,079 acres, comprised of open water, high marsh, low marsh, shrub wetlands, beaches, and upland forest. Point Lookout provides visitors with opportunities for camping, swimming, boating, and fishing. There are also historic sites at the park, including the 1830 Point Lookout Lighthouse and one of the largest prisoner of war camps constructed by the Union Army during the Civil War. So the purpose of the project presented to you today is to replace failing water and wastewater utilities that service existing park areas. The proposed work involves the replacement and relocation of linear utilities, including water mains, gravity sewer mains, and sewer force mains. It also includes improvements to existing infrastructure, including wastewater pump stations, maintenance buildings, and sewer manholes. This site plan shows the proposed utility work in the northern section of the park. The full plan is attached to your staff report. The utilities to be upgraded are shown in yellow, and the entire limit of disturbance is within the critical area buffer, which has been expanded for non-tidal wetlands and hydric soils. The majority of the proposed disturbance is temporary or located within existing structures. No new lot coverage is proposed. For the most part, underground utilities will be replaced in kind. However, select segments will be relocated adjacent to existing roadways for easier maintenance and access, as well as to reduce potential impacts to environmentally sensitive areas in the future. Forest interior dwelling bird species, or FIDS habitat, has been identified on site. And as described on page 2 of the staff report, canopy and understory clearing is proposed and required in order to access the existing water and sewer lines. Given on-site constraints and in order to maintain utility access, mitigation for the proposed clearing will be fulfilled off-site with the planting of 40,500 square feet of native trees at Newtown Neck State Park in St. Mary's County. And just to note, the number within the staff report is incorrect, and that this 40,500 is the correct number. Regarding state agency review, a letter of authorization for impacts to non-tidal wetlands and their buffers was issued by MDE. DNR's Wildlife and Heritage Service identified FIDS habitat on site, as well as a great blue heron colony. Time of year restrictions for construction within the heronry buffers will be observed. And finally, Maryland Historical Trust determined that this project will have no adverse effects on historic properties. The entirety of Point Lookout State Park is vulnerable to sea level rise and storm surges. The map on the left shows the majority of the park is vulnerable to storm surges from a Category 1 hurricane. The map on the right shows the wetland adaptation areas located on site. DNR recognizes the vulnerable location of Point Lookout. However, the park's facilities and campgrounds already exist, and the purpose of the project is to replace failing water and sewer utilities that service the existing park areas. Where same trench replacement is not feasible, the utilities are being relocated out of wetland and forested areas to be adjacent to existing roadways in order to minimize disturbance for maintenance and repair in the future. Proposed improvements include raising the height of sewer manholes in locations prone to flooding and equipping some of the existing pump stations with flood-proofing measures. In addition, park staff has initiated a dune grass planting effort along the beach areas to reduce erosion. Impacts to the mapped wetland adaptation areas are unavoidable due to the location of the existing infrastructure and the nature of the project. The proposed work is underground and will not create any new structures above ground that could prevent the natural migration of wetlands in the future. Existing wetlands are being protected and improved as part of the park's efforts to meet the goals of the Point Lookout Strategic Management Plan. So by pursuing the park's strategic management plan goals and keeping disturbance within already developed areas, protection of the natural features on site, including the wetland adaptation areas, will be maximized. And then in accordance with the public notice requirements of COMAR, signage was posted at the project site and notice of the project was posted in the Southern Maryland newspaper. And with that, I will turn it over to Chairman Deegan.
Okay, we have any questions of Annie? Well, you guys do want to get out of here early. Well, the chair will entertain a motion then.
You recognize your...
Would you have one already ready?
I do, I have it
Okay.
queued up.
Chair recognizes Sandy Hertz.
Thank you.
Commissioner.
On behalf of the project subcommittee and in accordance with the staff report and presentation, I move that the Commission approve the Maryland Department of Natural Resources proposal to replace and relocate failing water and wastewater utilities that service the existing park areas. The entirety of Point Lookout State Park, located at the junction of the Potomac River and the Chesapeake Bay, is vulnerable to sea level rise and storm surges. In addition to relocating utilities, proposed improvements include raising the height of targeted sewer manholes in locations prone to flooding and equipping some of the existing pump stations with flood-proofing measures to account for impacts from extreme weather and flooding events. This motion is offered in accordance with the staff report and presentation and the following condition. Prior to the start of construction, DNR shall submit a copy of all final plans, permits, and approvals to Commission staff. Now, my motion is different from your recommendation. Did you already get those plans?
Yes, we have.
Okay, so this motion then is offered in accordance with the staff report and presentation, period.
And seconded by Mike Hewitt. Any other discussion? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Very good. Now we'll move on to Alex DeWeese. Talbot County. Where'd Alex go? Oh, she was in Europe.
Italy.
Alex
has just come back from Italy, so it's going to take her a while to get situated here.
I'm adjusted.
Okay.
Okay, is this okay?
Yes.
You guys can hear? Okay, great. Thank you, Chairman Deegan. Again, my name is Alex DeWeese. I'm a planner for the Critical Area Commission, obviously. This afternoon, I'll be presenting safety and traffic improvements at the intersection of Maryland 322 and Glidewind Ave in Talbot County. This project is proposed by the Maryland Department of Transportation, State Highway Administration, or MDOT-SHA. So again, the project is located in Talbot County. Talbot County is highlighted on the eastern shore of Maryland on this map of Maryland here. And then specifically within Talbot County, the project location is marked with a star, kind of centrally located in Easton off of the Tread Avon River. The purpose of this project is to provide additional safety capacity at the intersection by eliminating lining up of vehicles to turn onto Glenwood Avenue and improved safety for bikes and cars. So the proposed improvements to achieve this include roadway widening to provide a dedicated right turn lane, a through lane, and a left turn lane, and 10-foot wide shoulders along Maryland 322, both above and below the intersection. Improvements also include stormwater management facilities, drainage improvements, grinding and resurfacing of existing roadways, and signage and marking upgrades and landscaping. So due to the nature of this project, including the addition of the turn lanes, this project isn't captured under the Memorandum of Understanding between SHA and the Commission. Therefore, review and approval is required today. So this white screen cap here is the same as the site plan that's attached to your staff report. It's just an overview of the site. The LOD is about 5 acres, and it's highlighted in blue here. And then on the left-hand side is kind of a zoomed-in aerial of the critical area designations and boundaries for the site location. So running north-south is Maryland 322, and east-west is Glenwood Avenue. So here's the intersection where a lot of the work is taking place. And you'll note that the designation is red, so intensely developed area, and most of the surrounding area is IDA as well, with a mix of uses. The attachment to your staff report has 6 more individual pages for different portions of the project. Because it's linear, we're not going to go into detail for each of them, but I wanted to highlight the one for the intersection since this is where most of the changes are being proposed. This kind of horizontal, vertical striped area here indicates existing roadway at the intersection that's going to be resurfaced. And the gray areas are the new turn lanes going from Glenwood Avenue to Maryland 322. Overall, the impacts for the project and mitigation include an increase in impervious surfaces within the LOD from 0.4 to 1.5 acres, some woodland clearing, temporary and permanent buffer impacts as well, all of which are mitigated appropriately within the project vicinity. The 10% requirement for the project equates to 1.73 pounds of phosphorus removed per year. This will be both met and exceeded with the installation of multiple microbiome retention ponds, grass swales, and 1 bioswale. Additionally, there will be impacts to non-tidal and tidal wetlands and tidal waters, which are mitigated with MDE, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. So as far as agency review goes, as I mentioned, there are impacts to non-tidal waters, non-tidal wetlands and their buffers, as well as tidal wetlands and waters, which requires approval by the Board of Public Works. They are actually reviewing this project today. SHA has requested to pay into the compensation fund to meet mitigation requirements. Additionally, for sediment and erosion control authorization, authorization is pending for that, as is SHA's internal review and approval of stormwater management. These approvals are expected within the next couple of weeks. And for the rest of the agency correspondence, SHA has submitted documentation from the remaining agencies that there wasn't really anything of concern to note for this project. The climate resiliency assessment provided by SHA is summarized in pages 3 and 4 of your staff report. But to summarize that for you now, sea level rise is not really a concern for this project, so I haven't included a screenshot of that particular map. However, we are looking at storm surge on the left-hand side. So our LOD, again, it's linear and it's a little bit hard to see here, but it's outlined in red. You'll note that it's really only impacted by a Category 4 storm surge. Category 1 is in blue, 2 is in yellow, 3 is in orange, and Category 4 is in red. So for the most part, the roadway itself is really only impacted by inundation, again, from a Category 4 storm. And there's a little bit of Category 3 as well, but that's more where there's temporary disturbance. However, SHA did note that there are some wetland adaptation areas in the project vicinity as well. For the most part, it is this kind of orangey color, which notes it's a low priority wetland adaptation area. And because there are these adaptation areas within the project vicinity, SIJ provided a justification for why impacts are unavoidable, which is primarily because this is existing infrastructure, and consideration for design of the project to eliminate additional vulnerabilities and minimize flooding potential. For the public notice requirements, signs were posted at the project site, both on the north and southbound signs of Maryland 322. Notice was also posted in the local Star Democrat newspaper, and no comments have been received. So I will turn it back over to Chairman Deegan for questions.
Any questions?
Does Glenwood Avenue dead end west of 322? Or does it continue on to another connector?
It looks like it does right here. Is this the point you were asking
Yes.
about? Yeah, I believe it does, and then it turns into, I'm not sure what this road is.
So the purpose is to improve traffic turning right if you're going north? Turning
I
right
think
on
both, my understanding is both north and southbound, they're adding turn lanes in all directions at this intersection to improve safety, because right now, as it is, we have a lot of traffic lining up to turn into and out of 322.
To go into town, I'm presuming.
I think going in any direction, there's a lot of traffic lining up along the intersection.
That might be, you can go from there down to Court Street, which goes to the water. You might have more traffic on there than you think.
Yeah, there wasn't like a traffic assessment provided in terms of like which section of roadway is the most active, but the overall project is to minimize how many bikes and cars are lining up to make the turns onto the different roads here.
Okay, any other questions? Chair will recognize Sandy Hertz then
Thank you. On behalf, pardon?
for a motion.
Thank you. On behalf of the project subcommittee and in accordance with the staff report and presentation, I move that the commission approve the Maryland Department of Transportation, State Highway Administration, proposed traffic and safety improvements along Maryland 322 at Glenwood Avenue in Talbot County. The proposed work involves full-depth outside widening to provide a dedicated right turn lane, through lane and left turn lane, as well as 10-foot wide shoulders along Maryland 322 northbound and southbound at Glenwood Avenue. Additionally, the proposed work includes the installation of stormwater management facilities, drainage improvements, grinding and resurfacing of the existing roadway, and necessary signage and pavement marking upgrades and landscaping. This motion is offered in accordance with the staff report and presentation and the following condition. Prior to the start of construction or within 30 days, whichever comes first, MDOT SHA shall submit a copy of all final plans, permits, and approvals, including stormwater management plans and erosion and sediment control authorizations to commission staff.
Steve, did you want to second that?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries unanimously. We're rolling. Okay, Charlotte, you're up.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Okay, my name is Charlotte Sheeran, and I will be presenting the MDOT SHA project to replace the bridge over the east branch of the Wicomico River on US 13 business. So as I said, this project is from Maryland Department of Transportation, State Highway Administration. They will be replacing an existing bridge along US 13 Business South, also known as Salisbury Boulevard in Wicomico County. The purpose of the proposed bridge replacement is to provide a safe and reliable crossing for motorists, pedestrians, and bicyclists along 13 Business in the city of Salisbury. The new bridge will be approximately 11 feet wider than the existing bridge and will include the addition of a sidewalk on the west side and a multi-use path on the east side. Sorry, temporary pavement will also be installed for maintenance of traffic and pedestrian safety during bridge demolition and construction. All areas of temporary pavement will be either restored to their pre-existing conditions or converted to the multi-use path, which will be ADA compliant. So these improvements are considered phase 2 of this project. Phase 1 consisted of utility relocations, which are still in progress, with an anticipated completion date of spring 2023, prior to the start of phase 2 construction. Phase 1 was reviewed and approved as a Category 2 project under our MOU with SHA in 2018. So the entirety of the project's limits of disturbance fall within the critical area. The total LOD is 1.2 acres. Disturbance within the critical area is unavoidable due to the scope of the project and the proposed improvements. Per COMAR, as a linear project within the SHA right-of-way, this project will be reviewed in accordance with the requirements of intensely developed areas, or IDAs. In addition, the surrounding area around this project is also mapped IDA. As a result of construction activities associated with the proposed Phase 2 improvements, 3 individual trees within the buffer will be removed, and the buffer has been expanded for the presence of hydric soils. Temporary and permanent disturbance to the buffer is proposed due to grading operations associated with the replacement of the bridge, storm drain improvements, and the installation of the multi-use path. The temporary impacts within the existing right-of-way total approximately 10,000 square feet, and permanent impacts total just 421 square feet. So these permanent disturbance impacts will be mitigated off-site at a 1-to-1 ratio at the previously approved firehouse mitigation site, which is a mitigation bank located in Worcester County that SHA has used in the past for other critical area mitigation. They actually used it for the mitigation required for the Phase 1 improvements of this project. The 10% phosphorus stormwater management requirement, 10% phosphorus reduction stormwater management requirement will be met on site with the use of a bioswale. So other permits and agency reviews. First, we have Maryland Department of Environment. A joint permit application was submitted to MDE on February 7th, 2018. And a tidal wetlands license was issued by the Board of Public Works on August 1st, 2018. That approval was extended to an expiration date of August 1st, 2024. Stormwater management and sediment erosion control, those plans are currently under review by the SHA Plan Review Division, which has designated authority from MDE for approval. Because the limits of disturbance are over an acre, there's also a National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit, NPDES, and this approval is also pending. The Department of Natural Resources identified the stream on site as a Use 2 stream, which does have a closure period, and DNR also provided some best management practices related to that. They determined that there are no official state rare, threatened, or endangered species on site. Coordination with Maryland Historical Trust. The bridge, the current bridge, is actually considered, it is on the National Registry of Historic Places because of its, I think it was built in 1937. So Maryland Historical Trust and SHA have a memorandum of agreement related to the replacement of this bridge, which requires SHA to mitigate for that the impacts to this, National Historic Registry bridge, and those mitigation measures include they have to prepare a historic context report for timber concrete composite bridges. They have to prepare a lesson plan on bridge engineering per Maryland STEM standards, and they have to complete a Maryland Inventory of Historic Properties addendum form for the existing bridge to reflect the demolition. The historic context report and the addendum form have been completed in accordance with the MOA. The STEM lesson plan is ongoing. Coordination regarding that is ongoing between SHA and MHT. We did reach out to MHT before bringing the project in, just to confirm that they didn't have any outstanding reservations about the commission approving it today, and they were totally fine with us moving forward with our approval. So based on available climate-related data included with the application, the new bridge is vulnerable at the 1 to 2 foot and 2 to 5 foot inundation levels, with the approach roadways and multi-use path vulnerable at the 5 to 10 foot inundation level. Hurricane storm surges from categories 2, 3, and 4 storms will affect the new bridge, the approach roadways, and the multi-use path. There are no wetland adaptation areas within the project site, so none will be impacted. The proposed project has been designed in accordance with current American Association of State Highway and Transportation official standards. The new bridge has a design life of about 75 years, while the multi-use path and resurfaced roadway has an anticipated service life of 25 years. Per hydraulic modeling, the 100-year storm does reach the top of the new bridge, but does not overtop it. According to information provided by SHA, the CoSmart construction guidelines do not apply to this project, as the majority of the funding is from federal sources. In accordance with the provisions of COMAR, public information signs were posted at the project site on June 16th, 2022. SHA advertised a notice of opportunity for public comment in a local newspaper and on the SHA website on June 22nd, 2022, and there have been no public comments received. Are there any questions? If not, I would turn it over to Chairman Deegan.
Just a question. The mitigation, I was thinking that usually mitigations need to take place in the same county. Is that not normal, not anymore, not ever, not agreeing that?
It is, yeah, that was, it came up in our review of the project. Because the mitigation amount was so minimal here, we didn't raise it as a bigger issue. But I think if the impacts had required more than 421 square feet of mitigation, it probably would have been a bigger discussion around that.
Okay.
Yes.
Is the mitigation site publicly owned?
I believe it's owned by SHA. Yeah.
And it's not US 301 southbound, it's 13, right?
Yes.
Because on the map it says 301.
Oh, on the
On this little map here, it says 301. Isn't this 301?
Yes, it does.
301 second. Sorry, picked up all the little details.
Okay, no more questions. I'll recognize Sandy Hertz, Chair of the Project Subcommittee, for a motion.
Thank you. On behalf of the project subcommittee and in accordance with the staff report and presentation, I move that the commission approve the Maryland Department of Transportation State Highway Administration proposal to replace bridge number 2200400 over East Branch of the Wicomico River on US 13 Business, also known as South Salisbury Boulevard in Wicomico County, Maryland. This motion is offered in accordance with the staff report and presentation and the following conditions. Prior to the start Number 1, sorry. Prior to the start of construction or within 60 days, whichever comes first, MDOT SHA shall submit a copy of all final plans, permits, and approvals, including stormwater management plans, sediment and erosion control approval, and NPDES authorizations to commission staff. Number 2, to further incorporate climate resiliency measures for the project, MDOT SHA shall locate proposed stormwater management facilities features including the bioswale outside of the 1 to 2 foot inundation zone.
Okay, we have a second, Gail? All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, passed unanimously. Very good. Next, Susan Maloof, we have back to St. Mary's College. Seems like we see them a lot.
Mr. Chairman, I realize my ears aren't getting any younger. Did anybody second that motion?
I think
Yeah,
Gail did.
Gail.
Yeah.
Gail Blazer. I kind of went to the,
I said, yeah, I kind of didn't do it very officially, I apologize.
Well, thanks for bailing me out.
try to go to the area. She's not Wacomico, but she's damn close to it.
She goes through it.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're doing good. There we go. Did you go to St. Mary's College?
No, I did not. Went to Penn State.
That's one good.
So did one over there.
Penn State.
There's multiples.
Yeah, who else went?
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
So good afternoon, everyone. As Chairman Deegan said, my name is Susan McCloof, and I will be presenting the Maryland Heritage Interpretive Center project, which will be built on the campus of St. Mary's College of Maryland. The project requires review and approval by the Commission because it is not eligible for review under the Memorandum of Understanding between the college and the Critical Area Commission. Before we continue, I'd like to introduce the following guests that we have with us today attending the meeting on behalf of the project. So we have Maury Schlesinger, Director of Facilities Planning for St. Mary's College. We have Peter Soprano, a consultant engineer who's worked on the college, so they'll be available if any of you have questions at the end of the presentation. I guess I need the go. So first, I'd like to share an outline of today's presentation. We'll begin with the project overview, including the project location. Next, we'll discuss the critical area impacts, including the 10% pollutant reduction requirement. Then we'll review the coordination and review that has occurred with other state agencies for the project. And finally, we'll have time for any questions you may have at the conclusion of the presentation. So St. Mary's College of Maryland proposes to construct a new Maryland Heritage Interpretive Center, or MHIC, building on the college's campus. Construction is anticipated to begin in summer 2022 and extend through summer 2024. The proposed work involves site grading, constructing the MHIC building, and installing associated site improvements. The MHIC building will serve as a focal point for both the college and historic St. Mary's City visitors, and will include a visitor center, exhibit galleries, a multifunctional room for films and meetings, and an outdoor plaza and garden. As noted earlier, the project requires Commission approval under COMAR 270205 because it didn't qualify for approval under the MOU due to the size of the building. So this slide shows you the location of the project. St. Mary's County is highlighted in red on the map of Maryland in the upper left-hand corner. A map of St. Mary's College can be seen in the lower left corner, and the project location is indicated by the red marker. So zooming in a bit more on the aerial imagery on the right, you can see the location of the MHIC building, which is south of the Anne Arundel Hall complex here, and between Old State House Road here and Point Lookout Road, which is also Maryland 5. So before we move on, I would like to point out that the bare area directly beneath the star was previously a paved parking lot, which has since been removed. This slide shows you existing conditions. The 1.81 acre project site is located entirely within the critical area on land designated as intensely developed area, or IDA. The IDA is indicated by the light red shading on this slide. The site is currently occupied by pedestrian walkways, utilities, and lawn area. And as discussed on the previous slide, a parking lot, which has since been removed, also previously occupied the site.
Back up for a second.
Sure.
That green area to the left, is
Yep.
that IDA also?
RCA. The
Oh,
green would
RCA.
indicate, yep, so the project is located right here, so
Which
it's
is
all,
in IDA.
yep, but this would be the RCA, exactly, yep. So the proposed conditions are shown on the site plan on this slide. The blue shaded areas, both the dark and the light blue, indicate proposed lot coverage within the IDA. The MHIC building itself is shown in dark blue, and the walkways that connect the building to the rest of campus are shaded in light blue. The proposed stormwater management facilities and their respective drainage areas are also shown on this slide. The stormwater management facilities will be discussed in more detail on a later slide. So regarding the critical area impacts for this project, there are no buffer impacts and no impacts to tidal or non-tidal wetlands or any other habitat protection areas. There is no forest clearing or tree removal since there is no existing forest on site. Existing lot coverage is 0.39 acres and proposed lot coverage is 0.40 acres. And existing lot coverage includes the previously removed parking lot, and the reason it includes the parking lot is because when Anne Arundel Hall was constructed in 2014 to 2016, the MDE stormwater approval included the MHIC building, and therefore that existing parking lot was part of the original stormwater management calculations. The MHIC building wasn't built at that time due to a lack of funding, and that's why it's coming in now for review. And as we stated earlier, the project is located in the IDA, and therefore it must meet the critical area 10% pollutant reduction requirement. So the 10% pollutant reduction requirement for this project is 0.13 pounds of phosphorus per year. The project LOD is shown in orange on this slide. The proposed stormwater management facilities are shaded in blue, and their corresponding drainage areas are shown by the blue dotted line. So the stormwater management facilities include 3 microbioretentions. There's one here, another one here, and then a larger microbioretention here. 1 green roof, 1 non-rooftop disconnect, which we disconnected to this drainage area for infiltration, and then 2 rooftop disconnects. This area will drain here, and then this area of the roof will drain here. The 6 stormwater management BMPs will provide 0.81 pounds of phosphorus reduction per year, so therefore the pollutant reduction requirement for the project has been met. So St. Mary's College completed a coastal resiliency analysis for this project. And based on this analysis, the entirety of the project site is located outside of vulnerable locations. The proposed MHIC building, which is indicated by the purple stars shown on this slide, is not located within the 100 or 500-year FEMA floodplains, and there are no mapped wetland adaptation areas on site. In addition, the project is located beyond the projected storm surge of Category 1 through 4 hurricanes and beyond the projected 10-foot sea level rise zone. So regarding the agency reviews, a modification to the March 27, 2012 approval for the stormwater management and erosion and sediment control plans was approved by MDE on April 7, 2022. DNR Wildlife and Heritage Service has no concerns with the project as currently proposed. And MHT has had extensive coordination with both the college and Historic St. Mary's City regarding this project and has no objection to the critical area review and approval of the project. So in accordance with COMAR 27030103, public notice of this project is required. A notice was posted in the Southern Maryland News on May 6, 2022. In addition, and as shown on the photo on the right, the sign was posted on the site, and no public comments have been received. Okay, so thank you for your attention. I'll now turn it back over to Chairman Deegan.
Okay, anybody have any questions of Susan? Good job, Susan. I'll recognize Sandy Hertz, Chairman of the Program Subcommittee. Project Subcommittee.
Oh.
I'm with it.
He's trying to give me
I'm
your job again.
trying to go faster.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the Project Subcommittee and in accordance with the staff report and presentation, I move that the Commission approve the St. Mary's College of Maryland proposal to construct a new facility, the Maryland Heritage Interpretive Center building on the SMCM campus. St. Mary's College of Maryland is located on the St. Mary's River and adjacent to historic St. Mary's City in St. Mary's County. The facility will be located south of Anne Arundel Hall between Old State House Road and Point Lookout Road, also known as Maryland 5. This motion is offered in accordance with the staff report and presentation.
Okay, we have a second by Commissioner Hewitt. Any discussion? Seeing none, assume we're ready to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. And we'll move on now to the program with Tay Harris. Tay, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Chairman Deegan. Can you hear me? Okay, now I hear myself better. Okay. I am here, well, actually, let me bring up the presentation. That would be helpful. I don't think this is the right one. Sorry. I'm not sure where it is. Just a minute. It seems like it's missing, so I'm going to have to open it up from the S drive. Sorry. Bob. I don't see where it is on here.
You want the S drive, not the P drive?
It was down here.
You're on the wrong drive.
Okay. Thanks.
What's that, a Wi-Fi booster?
Sorry about that. I can be extra quick after having to spend all that time opening it. Okay. All right, so I'm Tay Harris, and I'm here to present to you the Town of Rack Hall Mapping Boundary Update. The Town of Rock Hall is in Kent County, and you can see Kent County is here, and then Town of Rock Hall is here in Kent County. The mapping boundary update is required as per COMAR 270111. The update has been going on since 2012, since the directive was put out. And here you can see that there are losses and gains. The gains are in green. They represent 42 acres. And losses are in red. They represent 6 acres. And in all, 460 acres remain the same. So I'd like to turn this over to Chairman Deegan. Anyone has questions?
Okay. Don't have any questions yet, so I'll recognize Deborah Cornwell, the acting chair of the program subcommittee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The program subcommittee recommends concurrence with the chairman's determination that the critical area boundary mapping update for the town of Rock Hall can be processed as a refinement to the town of Rock Hall's critical area program. Further, the program subcommittee recommends that the chairman approve the town of Rock Hall's map amendment as proposed.
Okay, I appreciate your concurrence, and that'll stand as my final decision. Next, we have back to Rock Hall again, only this time we get Annie. Rock Hall's such a little tiny town. How are we going to get two planners?
It's very important.
There must be a good restaurant up there or something.
It's a good boating town.
Betterton's on the cute. Betterton.
He was a commissioner. He was a commissioner. Donnie Sutton. Whenever you're ready, Annie.
All right, awesome. Hi again, I am Annie Sakarik, and I will now be presenting the proposed critical area designation changes on the critical area map for the town of Rock Hall. So, as Tay just described, the town of Rock Hall is located in Kent County, and they have requested and have been approved to update their 1,000-foot critical area boundary map. During the boundary update process, though, town and commission staff identified several parcels that need a critical area designation change, either through the mapping mistake process or through growth allocation. So first off, a single mapping mistake was identified for the parcel outlined in bright blue on this map. It's kind of hard to see, but it's right over here. The parcel is also identified on attachment 1 to the staff report. This parcel was mistakenly mapped as Limited Development Area, or LDA, at the time of original program and map adoption in 1988, even though it met all of the characteristics of an intensely developed area, or IDA. The town is now requesting to correct this mistake and reclassify the parcel to IDA. So in addition, 5 areas were identified for growth allocation in order to reclassify additional parcels from LDA to IDA. This map highlights the growth allocation areas in bright blue, and they are also found on attachment 2. During the map review process, town and commission staff determined that these LDA parcels have been developed in a manner that exceeds the critical area LDA development requirements. Research uncovered that the town did actually receive a growth allocation allotment from Kent County in 1987. However, the town did not finalize the use of growth allocation for these parcels at that time, as they did not obtain the required approvals from the town council or critical area commission. Nevertheless, development on these parcels was approved by the town based on the standards for IDA development. This growth allocation request corrects this discrepancy by reclassifying a total of 44.60 acres from LDA to IDA. If approved, the growth allocation records for the town and Kent County will be updated to reflect the total deduction from the town's existing growth allocation allotment. And with that, I will turn it over to Chairman Deegan.
Okay. Any questions? Seeing none. I'll recognize Deborah Cornwell as acting chair of the program subcommittee.
Thank you, Chairman Deegan. Given that the mapping mistake is consistent with the critical area law and criteria, and given that the growth allocation meets adjacency standards and corrects an error, the program subcommittee recommends concurrence with the chairman's determination that the critical area boundary designation changes for the town of Rock Hall can be processed as a refinement to the town of Rock Hall's critical area program. Further, the program subcommittee recommends that the chairman approve the town of Rock Hall's designation changes as proposed. The designation changes shall be incorporated into the town's critical area maps within 120 days of the chairman's approval.
Okay, I'll accept your recommendation. Thank you very much, and that'll stand as my final decision. Okay, the one we've been waiting for all day. Alex, Deweese, back to Northeast. Cecil County.
Okay, thanks Chairman Deegan. Again, my name is Alex Deweese, and I'll be presenting the Town of Northeast Critical Area Mapping Update, which is a request for extension. The Town of Northeast is located in Cecil County, as highlighted on this map of Maryland in red. The town itself within the county boundaries is kind of centrally located along the Northeast River. As you all know, local jurisdictions are required to approve their updated critical area maps within 24 months from the date the Commission transfers the summary draft map. The 24-month deadline for Northeast to approve their draft maps is July 6th, which is today. The town is unable to meet this deadline due to 2 anticipated public hearings that will occur in mid-July. And they do expect to adopt the maps formally by the end of the month. So in order to accommodate those public hearings, they've requested a 90-day extension, which would make their new deadline October 4th, 2022. So back to Chairman Deegan.
We'll get a motion from Deborah Cornwell, the acting chair of this program subcommittee.
Thank you, Chairman Deegan. On behalf of the program subcommittee, I move that the commission approve the Town of Northeast requested time extension to accomplish local approval of their draft critical area maps by October 4, 2022.
Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Was that from David Marks?
I'll second that, yes. Second.
I could barely hear it. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we're going to give them a couple extra months. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it unanimously. Very good. Now, we're moving right along here. I want to recognize Emily Venturi, our Assistant Attorney General, and she has a special guest with us, which I should have introduced earlier, but I'll let you do that. Emily.
All right, thank you very much. Hi, everyone. This is James Duffy. He is our law clerk for the summer in the Office of the Attorney General, DNR, and he has been helping us out with some research this summer and a lot of other things. And he just finished his first year at UB Law School and is looking forward, hopefully, to going into environmental law when he graduates from law school. So, yeah. And so I just have one update for you guys today. You received it by email, but I just wanted to make it official and let you know here at the meeting that we did file a petition for judicial review to challenge the City of Crisfield's Board of Zoning Appeals decision in a variance case where they granted a variance for a single-family dwelling and a pool in the buffer. The Commission participated by submitting comments during the Board of Zoning Appeals process, and we were not opposed to the single-family dwelling, but we were opposed to the pool in the buffer. So what we are asking the court to do is reverse the board's decision in that case. So there'll be more to come. This case just got filed, but I did want to let you all know that we did do that. Oh, yeah.
So what about the pool? Why did you do the house but not the pool?
That's a great question. So variance applications have to meet a strict set of criteria, and one of them is called unwarranted hardship. And so we are saying our argument at the time, and what will be our argument going forward in the court case, is that the pool does not meet the unwarranted hardship standard, which basically means, in real words, you can put your pool somewhere else. You don't have to have your pool that close to the water. You can put it outside of the buffer.
And Sean, in this case, there is space to move that pool, so that
And it's just someplace not inside.
they'll eventually end up with the pool most likely.
Yeah, because a reasonable use would be, as the property is zoned for residential, so a house is something that would be considered a need, whereas the pool would be an accessory use that's not needed to live on the property.
Exactly.
That's what justifies that.
That's perfect. Yeah, did you want to?
Did we get a map of it, or is it just, we don't have any, a diagram of it?
Oh, I can send you the address. I don't have it off the top of my head, but it's on Doherty Creek. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, I just would like to see
Crisfield's.
how, in reference to other people's properties and.
Oh, yeah,
it's
I
kind of
can
be
send you
nice
that.
to understand what you're doing.
Yeah. No, you like the details. I get it, Gail. I get it, Gail.
It's like, well, where in the world is this? I'm like, I need a site plan.
Yes, I can send you a site plan.
Well, in St. Mary's County, about a month ago, the commissioners approved a amendment to our comp plan to allow variances to place pools in the buffer. And we sent that up the road here, and we were said, I thought we were told that, you know, there wasn't gonna be any conflict.
Your text amendment is being processed, so that'll come before this body, but the change is that someone can apply. So your old code said they couldn't apply, and the text changed so they can apply.
Why let them apply if they're gonna be denied?
I mean, that is the argument that applicants are gonna have to make. That's what your Board of Appeals is gonna have to decide, and then,
Then they'll come here and take it to court.
potentially, yes.
Good.
It's not much of a service to our constituents.
Well, it depends on whether you want a pool in a buffer or not.
Well, I mean, if we haven't allowed them, and then now we're gonna allow them to ask for one, I think it would be reasonable that the constituency would think they're allowed to get one. I mean, if they were never allowed to ask one, now they're allowed to ask for one. Does that mean still just another way for us to say, we're gonna tell you no? We're gonna give you due process, but we're gonna still tell you no?
I mean, I think, I don't have a good answer to that question. I think that is gonna be, that's a decision that's first made at the local level. And if it comes before, if it comes into my office, then we will look at each case on the specific facts before us.
Would we still have to meet the hardship?
Unwarranted hardship, yeah.
Yes.
We'd still have to meet that.
I get it, but still, why are we opening this up when we're just gonna turn it down anyway?
Well, why did St. Mary's do that?
Because the people asked for it.
Well, this is back over years.
No, but we went and asked Critical Areas Commission what's gonna happen if we send this up and we vote yes to do it.
I asked for ice cream Sunday today, I didn't get it.
But this one that's taking to court is different, you know, is they're gonna take it to court. That's a different, opens up a whole new wall of wax. People have to hire a lawyer to go through all that process.
So you say your constituents in trouble having to hire a lawyer?
Just don't know up front.
No, the county says you can't do it. Now they send it up here. They don't have to send it.
Well, we did ask for advice before we did.
I think, there's a difference, Commissioner Hewitt, with, there is not a prohibition in the critical area law that prohibits jurisdictions from allowing applicants to apply for variances for specific things like a pool. In the buffer. There isn't a prohibition to that. Every variance application, no matter the structure, whether it's a house or a pool or a deck or a shed, to a critical area variance standard has to meet all of the variance standards, including the standard of unwarranted hardship. And the commission has traditionally looked very strictly at pools, because as Commissioner Rhodes indicated, a house or a property that's zoned for a house, obviously that's a reasonable and significant use. But when you start moving into accessory structures, we start looking at other circumstances and factors. And so quite often, the commission does file appeal on those types of cases. But as Emily indicated, we look at them specifically and individually as they come in.
All right,
Okay, we want to go to Kate for her 4 minutes?
Okay, my 4 minutes.
That's what you got left, I want to be anyway, too.
Yeah,
I promise.
Pressure.
All right, there's pressure. Okay, I'll be very fast. So as you may have seen from the projects in front of the commission today, quite a few of them had to address coastal resiliency and climate resiliency, and specifically the requirements that are in the critical area regulations for state projects. As a result of, just the confluence of cases or projects, I should say, the project subcommittee had a discussion this morning about those requirements for review, the types of information that we are asking for, how data has improved in the last 8 years, the intersection of our regulations with the Coast Guard Council, and as a result, looks like some work needed on our end to look at our applications, look at our data that we're requesting and our process, and make some recommendations potentially on improving all of that. So the subcommittee recommended forming a small work group of commissioners, and so we will be doing that, to take a closer look at this issue and bring back some recommendations to the full commission.
Very good,
Did I
Kate.
do it?
You did it.
Only
you.
one question for you guys. Does anybody want to go back to Poplar Island this year? Show of hands.
I mean, I haven't been yet.
Okay,
All right. I'll do it.
We'll take care of that. then. Okay, we're ready to adjourn. Unless anybody has anything else, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
We should
Wait.
mention to Deborah that that was the work group that
Oh, yeah.
you were volunteered for.
Likely an August meeting.
You're being volunteered.
Depends on the gov.